Hello all. This is the discussion about 2025 UPSC Prelims. I'll be taking the economy discussion. The remaining other faculties will take the remaining set of questions. I would rate Indian economy questions as moderate to high level, provided you have a very good knowledge, basics knowledge, and good and vast experience of solving the questions. Okay, reading the basic books and regularly and religiously following the newspapers. A person can, I feel like almost uh, like excluding one or two questions, the person can actually answer all the questions, I feel, in the Indian economy. And many case studies which I have discussed in the class notes are quite referred here. So we can easily take those chapters and we can infer the questions. So we'll take the 11th question. Suppose the revenue expenditures is 80,000. This is quite easy. Revenue expenditures is 80,000 and revenue receipts of the government are 60,000 crores. So revenue receipts will be 60,000. So what will be the deficit? 20,000 crores. So here the deficit will be 20,000 crore. So revenue deficit 20,000 crore that he himself has given. Next, fiscal deficit. How do you calculate fiscal deficit? I have told you many times in the class. Fiscal deficit is nothing but the borrowings. So what is the borrowing? He said the government budget also shows the borrowing of 10,000. So fiscal deficit itself is borrowing. So 10,000 is correct. So next one, he says, and the interest payments of 6,000 crores, which of the following are correct? So what is asking you? Primary deficit. How do you calculate PD? PD is equal to FD minus IR. This we have discussed many times in class. And what is FD? FD we have got 10,000 and PD is FD we have got 10,000 and the interest payments is 6,000. So PD will become the 4,000. So all the three statements are quite clear. So that is how, like few times, if you could actually follow the formulas, that could be beneficial for you to in understanding the statements. All right. So we'll go to the next statement here. So next question is question number 15th we can take. So question number 15th is again talking about the similar statements like FDs. The country's FD stands at 50,000 crores. So he himself says that country's FD stands at 50,000 crores and it is receiving 10,000 crores to NDCR, non-debt capital receipts that is. So 10,000 crores as NDCR. Okay, through NDCR. And the country's interest liabilities are 1,500 crores. So here the interests are 1,500 crores. So when you put it 1,500 crores, he's asking you what is the gross PD. Gross PD means overall PD, including the present and previous government's interest payments. So PD is equal to FD minus IR, same thing. And here he has given this statement only to confuse you. That's it. So 50,000 minus 1,500, that will become 48,500. So it has to be B. It has to be 48,500. That is, answer is A. See, such a simple question he has asked. If you know one formula, you are actually able to answer the two important statements. So next question we will take. Here, this is very, very simple question. This we have discussed so many times in the classroom. The statement itself is recommendations of 15th Finance Commission. Simple, only remove option number 2 because it is not 45%, it is rather 41 percentage plus 1%. That is 42 actually. 42 or 41. But when the statement 2 itself is wrong, so only left one is C. So 16th has to be C. And the next one, statements, many statements have been asked from the references of, for example, with respect to the World Bank, etc. So you can look at 17th question here. 17th question states is talking about IBRD. It provides loans and guarantees to middle income group. That is quite true. 100 times we have discussed about IBRD. It works up single-handedly. Is it IBRD is working as single-handedly? No, because we have other institutions also, okay, to reduce the poverty, which is IDA also. That is development agencies, international development agencies, which will provide the credits. So it is not the only single-handed. So we can remove second statement. If you remove the second statement, only statement which is correct is 1 and 3. This is very, very simple statement. Next, in RTGS, the settlement time is instantaneous, while in the case of NEFT, it takes some time to settle the payments. So let me just rub this first. Okay, next one. I'll also refer from here. 1 second. 18th question. In RTGS, the customer is charged for inward transactions, while that is not in the case for NEFT. So here, one important point is inward transactions. You have to look at for the inward transactions. Inward transactions itself is saying, for example, a person who am, that means someone is sending money to me. If I am receiving the money, then it can why the transactions are being charged on it. So RTGS, the customer is charged. So you have to remove two. When you remove two for inward transactions, while that is not the case for NEFT, it is not for inward transactions. It is for the outward transactions. It is been charged. So when it is for outward transactions, which is charged, then 2 cannot be the answer. So when you eliminate 2. Okay, it has to be 1 or 2, 1 or 3, or 1. Next, operating hours for RTGCs are restricted on certain days. So it is not restricted on certain days. So 3 cannot be the right answers. When 3 cannot be the right answers, then obviously it has to be the remaining one, which is 1. So 17th we have done. 18th has to be only 1. Next, the statement about PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana. So simple, lot of people would have read these statement stating. I like to highlight this. Lot of people would have read the statements of 1 crore. Lot of people have read the statements of about 3 lakhs. See, in this, never blindly go and trust about this data and eliminate. This is the most important scheme which government discussed in previous year budget and also this year budget. This is quite true, and this is also true, and hence the Ministry of Renewable Energy is responsible for this. So all the statements for the 20 is going to be true. So that's the reason, never eliminate without having a knowledge in UPSC, else UPSC will eliminate you. That's the simple answer. So next question I have written here, the question number is 37. Question number is 36, 37. Yes. National Automotive Board comes under Ministry of Heavy Industries. COIR Board comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industries. National Trade for Center, Trade Informatics, MSMEs, no, it is again Commerce and Industries. COIR Board, MSMEs. So here 37 has to be D. 37 has to be D, which is Center Informatics comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So 3 has to be 1. So anyways, none of them is matched. So answer is none. So question number 40. Question number 41. Question number 40. Okay, question number 40. Let me use this now. Question number 40. See, like such questions, there are certain streams. Upstream, there are few upstreams, there are few downstreams, which are majorly responsible. So this is talking about the downstream content. So how many of the above activities are regulated by Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board? So production, this comes under upstream. So like Director General of Hydrocarbons will take responsibility of this. And 2 and 3 are exclusively done by the Petroleum and Natural. So only 2 it has to be. All right, so we'll go to the next question, 40, 54, 51, sorry. If you take 51, alternative investment bonds is the question which has asked. We discussed this questions. Alternative investment bonds is like you wanted to attract the large scale pooling. So large scale pooling includes the pooling with respect to certain subjects. Okay, incomes and the returns will be given to them. High interest rates also will be given to them. And the pooling includes the hedge funds, venture capitals, the real estates. Such activities will be brought into that. And there is no role of the bonds and the stocks. And hence only 2 should be the correct answer. Which of the following are the sources of income for the Reserve Bank of India? How does Reserve Bank of India earn? I've told you many times, buying and selling government bonds, that is interest payments. Next, buying and selling foreign currency. Obviously, the foreign currency will deflate. So devaluation, if you do, then in such case, the RBI will get greater returns. Pension fund management, you can eliminate. Lending to private companies, you can eliminate. Printing and sharing, obviously, this is a core responsibility. So answer has to be 1, 2, and 5. Next one, if you look at 53 or 54, 59, 60. Okay. All right. So Directorate of Enforcement, this comes under finance, but not under home ministry. So one cannot be correct. Directorate of Revenue Intelligence. So this comes under Department of Revenue only. Second is correct. Director General of Systems and Data Management. This also comes under the finance. So it has to be only 2. 53 has to be 2. Next one, 54. If you take 54, Reserve Bank of India mandates all the listed companies in India to submit a business responsibility and sustainability report. So it is not RBI, rather it is SEBI. This you have to remember. So this is wrong. Second one, in India, a company submitting BRSR makes disclosure. That means any company which is submitting this report will disclose something more than financial activity. Something more than financial activity means your ethical responsibilities, your environmental responsibilities, your social responsibilities. So in India, a company submitting this report makes disclosure in the report that are largely non-financial. Obviously, these are non-financial. So anyways, it has to be 2. All right. So let us take next question. Consider the following statement. Here he says, in India, incomes from allied activity. I also already told in many of the classes, it should be commercial activity. So when it's talking about the commercial activity, then only it comes into taxable permit. In India, income from allied agriculture activities like poultry, wool, exempted. It is not exempted, it is taxable because it comes under the marketing activities. So in India, rural agriculture, so this is wrong. In India, rural agriculture land is not considered as capital gain asset means transaction from one person to another person, then the gain you get it, on that gain you will charge the capital gain tax. And hence in India, rural agriculture land is not considered as capital. That's true because we are not going to charge a capital gain tax on it. So only statement 2 is correct. 1 is not correct and statement 2 is correct. It has to be B. So here you look at very simple technique I'll teach you here. India has joined the minerals. Yes, it has joined recently the minerals. In last year, June 2023-24, it was in news. India is a rich sources for all 30. India has identified 30 critical minerals, but it is not a rich source for this. So you eliminate 2. Here with a common understanding, you will get this answer. So here it is identifying the 30 critical mineral resources, but nowhere it is mentioned that it is a high level from the all the sources, critical mineral sources, etc. So that cannot be correct. As regards returns from an investments in a company, generally bondholders are considered to be relatively at lower risk. I have told you 1,000 times in the class, bonds are very much secured. When bonds are secured already, they will be in the less risk. So that's the reason the statement corrects. Next, bondholders are lenders, stockholders are owners. Obviously, they'll get the equities. Next, for repayment purpose, bondholders are prioritized over the stockholders. Obviously, yes, they should be given the most importance because they are most, they can act as an creditors and you have given credit to the company and you deserve to get interest rates on time payments when the time period of the bond is done. So both statements 2 and 3 are correct and both of them explain the statement 1. This is only one which is going to satisfy your answer. Next one, India accounts for a very large portion of all equity options contracted traded globally, thus exhibiting a greater boom. Obviously true. Sorry. There is no regulatory body. Obviously, SEBI is a regulatory body. So you eliminate 3 here first. Next, India's stock market has grown rapidly in the recent past. Yes, it has grown rapidly in the recent past when compared to Hong Kong. Hong Kong. That's why Raghuram Rajan, I told in the statement in the class, Raghuram Rajan was the one who actually said that. who actually said that here the stock market is glowing very hollow, but we never know when it will go into burst. So you look at this statement. There is no regulatory. There is a regulatory. So you have to eliminate three. So answer has to be one and two. So take the next question. Circular economy, this is a basic question I always teach in the chapter number one. Circular economy, biocircular economy. So you should not miss such kind of easy questions. Circular economy reduces, what is circular economy? Producer to consumer. Again, coming back to the producer, giving back to producer, producer extend responsibilities, reduce emissions, first point, and also making use of resources very efficiently. So circular economy reduces emissions, obviously true, it will reduce. Circular economy reduces the use of raw materials. Obviously, you are reducing the use of raw materials, and it will also reduce the wastages. So obviously, three statements are correct. So both statement 2 and 3 are correct, and both of them explain the statement 1. That's it. So it has to be A. So such a simple question, just read what is being explained in the class. That can help you to get good scores. Next, capital receipts create a liability. We have discussed exclusively about this content. Capital receipts create a liability or cause a reduction in the assets of the governments. That is true. It will create a liability and your assets will be reduced. When you have to borrow money, your assets will be reduced. Borrowing and disinvest capital receipt, definitely true because it makes a role of assets. Interest receipts on the loans received on the loan. Does it create liability of the government? No. The government is receiving. So when it is receiving, it is benefited. It's not a liability. So it has to be one and two. So this is such a simple question from the fiscal policy we have discussed many times in the class. So let me see if there is any economic questions left. So I feel economic questions like a person who has a greater knowledge in having the basics to be in the right direction, I think he can easily answer these questions correctly. So remaining questions, we will try to ensure that all the questions have been followed. And I wish you very good luck so that this type of paper should definitely allow a person, a sincere student to write the mains. So I'll come up with the next subject very soon. Thank you so much.